Oh,
Well, here we are, second week of June, and all the excitement around the Bernie Sanders campaign came to a halt like he got a big flat tire on his bus, hit a brick wall. And now a lot of those people are wondering, what are they going to do? They're going to support Hillary Clinton, the candidate that some people say we need to support to fight the right, but their whole history of the Clintons is to accommodate, triangulate to the right. And so we can't rely on them to fight the right. So we got to run our own candidates. We got Jill Stein running for the Green Party. And the question is, can we get all those Sandinistas, or a good segment of them, to come to the Green Party? And, you know, I think one of the things we need to look at is what have the Democrats done for us in New York lately? Andrew Cuomo has been posturing progressive, but it's all token, and you look at the real substance, it's very conservative. Take his pardons of people that got a conviction when they were 16 or 17. There's a big process. There are 10,000 people eligible. These are for people that got misdemeanors or nonviolent felonies. And the process is going to actually pardon about 350 a year out of 10,000 eligible. And what about the people that's older, that, you know, once you get that criminal record, you can't get into a job, into school? So Cuomo says he's pardoning people after they've paid their dues, and you got to go through 10 years without getting in trouble again. That means you're at least 26 years old. But what do you do in the meantime as a young adult? How do you survive if you can't get a job because, you know, criminal record is basically a bar to employment? So he postures, but then he doesn't really do something substantive. He bans fracking, but the state energy plan is totally dependent on natural gas for heating and cooking. He says he wants a clean energy standard that is 50% renewable electricity by 2030, where the Greens call for 100% of all forms of energy. Well, electricity is a quarter of our carbon footprint. We're already halfway there with the hydro we got, so it's really only, when you do the math, about 6% reduction in carbon by 2030, which doesn't deal with climate change. The minimum wage, you know, $15 an hour. In New York City, upstate, you get to $12.50 in 6 years, maybe. So you can go on and on through the issues. Meanwhile, he's presiding over the fiscal destruction of municipal government everywhere but New York City. My city of Syracuse, we had 391 water main breaks last year. Cuomo comes up and tells the newspaper we got to grow our economy and fix our own pipes, which means we got about $2 billion project. I mean, Syracuse can't afford to do that. We're just going to fall into our sewers and our water mains. Education, he said, oh, we'll review the high stakes testing, but in fact we're going ahead with high stakes testing. The receivership, which basically means the state takes over and hands it over to charter schools, is proceeding apace based on that test. And in my city of Syracuse, 18 to 35 public schools are on the list. So they're going to take half the public school district, hand it over to charters, and the overhead for maintaining the whole system and all the money that goes to the charters means the public sector probably go bankrupt anyway. They'll end up privatizing the whole system. You go through issue after issue after issue, and Andrew Cuomo is a very corporate conservative when it comes to economic policies, fiscal policies, environmental policies. And we can't let him get away with these progressive postures. And the same thing in the presidential election. Clinton will not fight the right, she will accommodate it. That's why we got to support the Greens that don't cross that class line and get mixed up with these big corporations in the Democratic Party. We represent ordinary people, speak for ourselves, and act for ourselves.